This case against the churches was fairly short-lived. One second. You'll see it was short-lived. The chief judge at the federal courthouse deemed it necessary to dismiss this thing outright, just right off the bat, due to subject matter jurisdiction, which basically means that we cannot judge cases in the name of God. In other words, we can't judge on the subject. No court in the land can judge about somebody being God. And yet yet the courtroom is my stage, is the stage for this. He was mistaken. He's mistaken in doing so, and I hope you let him know. You'll see. Open up the document. You'll see which judge it was. One second. So that kind of sucked. I was basically interested in taking 20 churches, every denomination I could find, and I found a website that was promoting the fact that they had a diverse culture in St. Paul. So I took them all. I realized I was probably a big pain in the butt to them, and in fact, shortly, just right after the lawsuit, I met somebody from the St. Paul Fire Departments at the Legion in Savage. And that was just funny. I couldn't help but chuckle about that one. Just right after it's just funny timing, and this, some guy from St. Paul happens to be wandering over to Savage Legion just to sit by himself, so that I'd wander on over and say hi to him, just to find out he's the fire and rescue for St. Paul. Anyways, so I piss off everybody in my lawsuits, but I don't know why they get so uptight, because so far they really get nowhere. And that would be the case for this one. I was hoping to get this figured out before I got sanctioned at the courthouse, to prevent filing anymore. I wanted to get answers, right? I couldn't get any answers. I kept wanting to get discovery open, and all the judges would keep dismissing everything, and despite all the allegations of the attempted murders on me, right, and stuff like that. So it's very frustrating, a very long ordeal. It takes a long time to get nothing done. And but in this one, in the process, legal team RKMC, this lady, the attorney Kelly, one second here. Kelly Olmstead calls me up from RKMC, attorney, and she says, "I'd like you to dismiss this." Look at the link under the one second. The All God's Children. Of these 20 churches, there was some bitching and moaning going on, like this shouldn't be happening, and I think they called it the courthouse, and that's why the judge eventually dismissed this thing, because there was a big public cry for what I was doing, and yet it was rude to dismiss this thing, because I'm looking for answers, and it's just rude that all the judges would dismiss these cases, and I don't get a chance to get any answers. So, but I was starting to see what would happen is I was starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel here. It was called an affidavit, and I didn't know. All I knew is that you under oath is in the courtroom. That's all. And most people, this is what they think. They think, "Oh, you got to be in the court to get under oath, in the courtroom to get under oath." And that's not the case, and I didn't realize this. But I was starting to realize this right about this time when she's like, "Hey, we want you to dismiss this thing," and she sent an affidavit. Check out the All God's Children. Check out the link there. And there's an affidavit that she sent me, and this is my first affidavit, or the first affidavit I would receive that gave me an indication. Oh, what does this mean? What does this mean? Affidavit. She sent me something that normally I'd be seeing submitted into the docket. I'm seeing it outside the courtroom. She emails me, and then, anyways, I study it and I go, holy cow, man! I don't believe it. I have a hard time believing it. Let me go through some stuff in here. Okay, so 1 second. So I'm looking at this thing and it says I'm the pastor of All God's Children, and anyways, it's like, okay, I'm willing to believe that this is under oath. At some point, until I start seeing, like, we believe that the Bible is the divinity inspired Word of God, showing forth God to every person through the law and prophets, and finally, and I guess I'm just in utter disbelief. I guess I just started researching what the notary signature meant, and that's when I started looking into how that all works. And it turns out that notaries, they got a lot more power than I think. They, in hindsight about this affidavit thing, I think, oh goodness, I could have had a V8. I should have known about this, right? Well, and I guess not. It's just things come at the right time for my knowledge. But I mean, notaries are unaware that they're not just witnessing a signature; they're actually declaring something that it is a true statement, and they are unaware of this. So they're declaring that this is a true statement if it's under oath. Notaries have there's a acknowledgement, and then there's an affirmation or an oath statement. Acknowledgement is without the oath, and affirmation or a jurat, some call it a jurat, is an oath statement. So I mean, it's just, I guess many people don't understand what an affidavit is, but it is. You can do it outside the courtroom, and I just started realizing that, and it wasn't long after this that I submitted into the dockets, into a couple dockets that no one can lie under oath due to my service, and that would stamp it official. That was occurring, so I figured I'd stamp it official into a docket, 2 dockets, I think 2 of my cases, in order to actually stamp it. Basically, I sent a word to God. I said, God, I'm making it official that nobody can lie under oath as of this date. I think that was 11th October, 2007. But you'll see this affidavit here, and it says believe. It says believe in that a lot. There's a lot of the word belief. We believe that Jesus Christ, historically recorded as living some 2,000 years ago, is all this believe. We do not believe Chris Roller is God. We do not believe that Chris Roller is Jesus Christ. So, I guess I was in disbelief for a while, and then it dawned on me that the word believe is not a good thing to be using, because a belief system allows your imagination. It's whatever your imagination wants to unfold. And if you want to believe that Jack and the Beanstalk existed, you can say that under oath. If you want to believe that Paul Bunyan existed and was 25 foot tall, chopping down trees, you can say that under oath. It's just that's saying that Jack and the Beanstalk, I believe that existed, and saying the word believe in there and versus the statement without the believe, you can't put both those. You can't say Paul Bunyan existed. You can't say that under oath. You can say, I believe Paul Bunyan existed, but you can't say Paul Bunyan existed. So see, wording is important. The English is very important. The one that really, I told Kelly that I need to see the paper document, so she sent it in the mail, and I got it, and I was like, something is wrong with this. Can I get the original? And she's like, no way, no. It's always a no with a Chris Roller. Anytime I'm just trying to conduct some research here, trying to figure out what's going on. It's like it's really a hardship. And I even offered to go to her office to see the original, and it was like she's hiding something. And it's possible she was. I mean, the way they act, it's like, so you lose her. Just shut up and just answer my questions so that I can, if you dismiss your case. So anyways, I said, hey, submit this thing. She didn't want to play along, so I said, submit that thing into the docket when you file the reply. And you'll see the reply. She didn't submit it. She did not submit the affidavit. And to this date, I have no clue why, other than maybe it was full of crap. Maybe it was lying. When I look at this thing, because at the time I have had a little research with people doing some signing stuff and faxing it, right? Faxing it and seeing how that electronic copy over email works. Well, I now realize that I take that pretty seriously when I get electronic photocopy in PDF form emailed to me, that I take it as that copy being legit. Okay. Now, after a year or two, I realize that I can take that as being legit. So when I look at this thing, I can wipe away all the ones that say believe. Our faith is so. If you take away the belief thing, it starts to wipe away a lot of the sentences. So you start, then the rest of it makes sense. The rest of it sounds like truth. Now, the one that got me really puzzled was the last one. I had never heard of Mr. Christopher Roller before his lawsuit against all God's children, before the lawsuit was commenced. And you might not think that that's a shocking sentence. I had real trouble believing that one, because I believe people are all knowing, that they know. Everybody, that inherently everybody, because we're hooked into God, that we are all knowing, and yet we're really dumb outside the oath. But in the oath, in this lawsuit, in affidavit format, we have supernatural knowledge. And that confused me. I thought, so this thing is completely, but now that I look at it, I understand now. You got to read it carefully. The English is important. I had never heard. Heard means ear. That physically, somebody's sound motions never, I guess, nobody ever had a conversation. I guess in reality, this person never had a conversation about Christopher Roller. Now, had that sentence been changed to, I never knew of Mr. Christopher Roller, then I'd still have a problem with this affidavit. But I can let it go because of the English used and the definitions of words that I never heard. I had never heard the word Christopher Roller, or what Christopher Roller was, until this lawsuit was commenced. Oh boy, I tell you. And I guess heard would have been from the guy that served it, or I think I served it via U.S. Postal Service. Still a little confused about that, but so you can see the English, the way English can be said. There's an exactness of how to say things, and it can actually mean very important. It can mean many different meanings based on the things you say, or you can make it a single meaning if you're very delicate about how you pronounce things under oath. And being an engineer, I'm pretty precise with my English. And but now I can say that this document was pretty legit. And when I got the copy, I got a copy of the affidavit. I was like, this is something like spliced together, like it you know, like the second page was kind of spliced together with the notarization. Again, as my first dealing with affidavit, I realized after a year that those are electronic formats are pretty legit when I get them, and that can be very important. That can be they actually have electronic versions, expensive machinery for electronic submissions. Say somebody wants to get a bank loan through, say in Minnesota wants to get a loan through a bank in California. Well, the person here has to sign in front of a notary here instead of the person flying over there to witness a signature in front of somebody at the bank. You can do it over here, and you can mail it over there. Or if you want to get it in a hurry, you put it in electronic format. You kind of scan it in with some special. It's kind of like scanning with a PDF, but I think it's more expensive. I know they've made it kind of a pain in the butt. I guess it doesn't. It sounds. You got to get special privilege to, you got to get the equipment, and then it's expensive, and I think you got to get a special authorization to do it, and then you can send that to the bank, the electronic version, so it's a way of quickly getting it to them, and they know that it's going to be officially stamped. But so what I realized it would just take about 3 months to realize that notarized statements in electronic copied, scanned format, scanned to me, are actually legit to me. So what else? So that has huge power, and that I believe it's so that I don't I could just have somebody just send me facts of their documents, and as long as they're notarized, I'll believe the copy version of it. So that's sort of powerful, and let's see, what else is there? I guess that's it. So I'll sign off here. I suppose I should mention in there the basic purpose in the lawsuit was to I was suing for tithing, for that since I'm God, that they should not be tithing to the church, they should be tithing to me, or at least I should be collecting some kind of portion of it. So I was actually suing for tithing, and all they had to do in there is say that I am not God, and I will dismiss their case. And that's kind of what Kelly Olmsted was doing, except for she was saying, I believe he's not. I believe Chris Roller is not God. Actually, Kelly's not signing it. The actual minister is signing this, and they were the only one that played along. I guess it was just the other churches. Like you can see, the dot was entered. There's nothing that says that I'm not God. So you'll see that this has never been entered. This has never happened. Nobody's ever told me that I was not God. And my in all my court dealings, outside the courtroom. Anyways, so that was what the reason for the commencement. I was under the impression that I took James Brandy to court saying that I'm God, and he never told me I wasn't. So we better collect some tithing, right? So that was the purpose of it. And I think that will maybe this lawsuit will be to be continued. I'm not sure about. Well, we'll see here. If I can get some oath money and collect some fees for the other things I got cooking, I don't think I really need to worry about tithing too much. Although you never know. I suppose that's another campaign I should probably work on. You'll see I took also Joel Osteen to court as well. You'll see that. You'll see that case. That was in the James Randi case. You'll see him in there.